Okay. Okay, we're back. Hopefully, whoever was in that last stream will make it over here. This is the first time I've had issues. The streaming is different than the last time that I was on here. But here's, I guess, part two of let's talk about all this Meg White business. And I just want to finish up, and I'll probably end up editing these two together as a video. Uh, you know, quit acting like playing difficult stuff is better than not. Because we don't do that with anything else. Nothing else in our world is defined by how difficult it is. You know, again, like, yeah, the drummer, yeah, Andrew Rooney, drummers need to stop with the status game. But that's not just drummers, though. That's everybody. And that's something we talked about on our podcast. YouTube shred culture is destroying musicality. It's the reason why one of the hashtags on all my channels or all my videos is hashtag make drums musical again. I'm fucking sorry. Nothing that I've ever heard from Polyphia I dig. It's too much, but people love it, and that's cool. You can like it, and I cannot. But I think that some of that, dude, I don't care, Andrew. I'm too old to give a shit. I don't get it. That stuff is so forgettable. It is so difficult to play and so impressive from a technical standpoint, but you just forget about it as soon as it's over. There's no melodies that you listen to. No one's going to play a Polyphia song at their funeral. You know what I mean? It's just ego-driven, amazingly played bullshit. And I would take Meg White over that any day of the week. Yeah, Tim Conley. I just taught a lesson tonight. Two Eagles tunes. Barely any Phil's killer songs, though. I was teaching it's all about the song. Play to the song. That is a way to make sure that your student gets gigs when they grow up. That's how you get gigs, is when you play songs. And I said it on Andrew Rooney's podcast. No one has ever gotten a gig because of their drum fills. They get gigs. You get gigs because of your time and your touch and your part writing and your pocket. No one gets a gig because they can play fucking cool drum fills. So that's really all I wanted to do today. I didn't want to have to make a full-on video about this. I just wanted to come on here. I was actually hoping that I would see you today, Andrew, and you too, Tim. Our times are so weird that I'm not sure when you are available, because I'm pretty sure Andrew Rooney's coming to us from tomorrow, and I think Tim's in the same time as me. But to just wrap up this Meg White business, does the sounds that she makes touch you on an emotional level, on an intellectual level? And that's it. Bottom line. Yeah, it's 9:17 here too, Tim. So we're in the same time zone. So that means you're on the eastern part of Canada. That's all it ever matters is if you're teaching, if you're touching the listener. And there you go, Andrew. I set you up. Wayne Gracer 16. Man, I haven't heard from you in a while. We ever going to get the Drunk Uncles again? I don't know. The Drunk Uncle podcast was so much fun, and it was something that was an artifact from the lock-in, or the lockdown, really, because we were all stuck in our fucking houses. And those three guys, two of them are on tour all the time. You'll see Jimmy playing with Jake Owen, and John plays with a guy named Tim Higgins, I think. And then, of course, Adam, he's in the process. Actually, I can't say what he's doing. He's doing something for a big band. Yeah, that's it, Wing Racer. And I knew that podcast had an expiration date. As soon as the world opened back up, I knew that the four of us being able to have, man, I love those podcasts. If y'all haven't watched any of those, go back. It's back like 2 years ago. And during the lockdown, we did a podcast with my three really great friends. Those three live in Nashville. Two are musicians. Well, they're all three musicians. Adam's a great bass player, but Adam works in the video side and has done a lot of work with Rush. And you know, I can't say any more because there's some stuff going on with him. And Jimmy and John are just on the road all the time. I barely get to talk to them on text message nowadays. But back to topic says, I love Meg. Her and Jack just groove together. Just everything was right, man. Everything was right about that. And all those people who are talking shit, I want to hear your songs. That's always the big problem with critics, right? Is you didn't do it. Shut your fucking mouth. You know what I'm saying? And it's, again, it's such a smooth brain take. And it's an easy take. And I will sound kind of like an egomaniac here. And I don't care. There is a certain level of wisdom and facility and ability that you have to have on an instrument to be able to truly appreciate subtleness and nuance. That's the ball game. You just don't know what you're fucking talking about. Sorry. Again, going to like woodworking. I could show you a piece of furniture and you as a, you know, just a viewer may say, well, I don't like that piece of furniture. And that's fine because that's opinion. But as a woodworker, I can tell you why that's a quality piece of furniture through the techniques that are involved and the materials because I know more than you about that. It's kind of how it is. You know what I mean? Andrew Rooney, people who critique Grohl, Rudd, and White just don't get music. Yeah, I don't know if Dave Grohl gets critiqued. Dave Grohl seems to be just like the most loved musician in America. You know, he's kind of like, Dave Grohl has kind of become everyone's cool uncle who smells like weed at Thanksgiving. Like, that's what Dave Grohl has become. You know, Phil Rudd, I've heard people trash that. But here's what I always say when Phil Rudd is brought up. This is a Steve Jordan quote. And Steve Jordan's, you know, all-time great, first ballot Hall of Famer. And he said that he would never want to be an AC/DC because what Phil Rudd does is impossible. And that's Steve Jordan. So if Steve Jordan thinks that Phil Rudd is great, then he's great. Goes back to Meg White. Tom Morello says she is. Jack White says she is. Questlove says she is. They know more than you. They are the... Yeah, Andrew, I don't know. Grohl gets critiqued as basic. Maybe in New Zealand, but you're too nice for that. He's a god in America. That motherfucker might run for president and win. And then I always say that, like, even if you want to say that his drumming is quote unquote basic on Nirvana records, go listen to Them Crooked Vultures, and he's playing off his ass and playing above and beyond what I even knew he was capable of. So yeah, I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that one. Where was I at? Oh yeah, kind of being the ego asshole a little bit. I'm a drummer of 30 plus years, and I've played 1,000 gigs, and I've written a bunch of songs. I've helped arrange a bunch of songs. I know more than you do when it comes to this. Meg White's awesome. Sorry. Wing Grazer 16 says there is a certain segment of elitist wannabe drummer types that think Grohl sucks. Man, of all the views I've got on all my Dave Grohl videos, I've never heard any of that. They are overshadowed by the people that have actually worked with him that all say he is amazing. Yeah, that one I'm not sure of. So Andrew Rooney says, let's just playing devil's advocate. Let's say Meg ain't good. Devil's advocate, because he's not saying that. So that means we put the boot in? I don't know what that means. That might be vernacular. That might be New Zealand stuff. Oh yeah. Tim Conley said, "I know the drummer that filled in for Phil Rudd, Chris Slade. Was that his name? Chris Slade." And he said it was a tough gig replacing Phil. Was really hard. Yeah, because there's something special about what Phil Rudd does. I think that's the most logical correlation I think you can make with Meg White. It's like Meg White and Phil Rudd, two drummers that have made some of the best drums or best songs of the last 40 years in popular music. So that's it. I mean, that's pretty much it, right? So that's all I wanted to really talk about with the Meg White. Tim and Andrew, I think we should probably do a three-way podcast at some point. I think that would be really fun. It would be a multinational podcast, Canadian and American and New Zealand, Kiwi, New Zealand. My favorite thing about New Zealand people is everything they say sounds like a question. Boot in, we pile on and bully drummers that aren't good. Yeah, okay, so yeah, boot in. That must be a New Zealand saying. But yeah, Andrew and Tim, let's get on a Instagram DM and try to do something, the three of us together. I think that would be really fun. It's the one thing about the YouTube game that I do miss is the collaboration, because, you know, as a drummer, that's all you do is collaborate, because not many people pay cover charges to just come see a drummer play. So I would like to do that. That would be really fun. And then Andrew can teach us more New Zealand euphemisms, like put the boot in, which means, I guess, pile on and talk shit. Oh, goodness. Andrew, if we do this podcast, do you think you could ever get through it without saying that's what she said? But yeah, let's do that. Tim, I think, will be the only one with hair. You know, we'll call it two hair and one with. But in closing, Meg White's awesome. If you don't get it, you don't fucking get it. And I feel bad for you because you're missing on some of the greatest songs ever. So that's it. I'll be coming out with a good old-fashioned react video this week sometime. It's been a while since I've actually made a video. I've been doing a lot of shorts. Please go check those out. If y'all like what I've been doing, please give me a like, comment, and share. And be sure to go to Tim Conley Drums and go to Andrew Rooney Drums and subscribe and check out their shit because they're awesome as well. One real quick here, Wing Racer 16. I think Peart is about the only drummer I would pay to see a true solo show. You're right. It's him. It's him and Terry Bozzio are kind of like the only two people you'd be like, okay, I'm going to go watch a solo drum show, right? And then even then, it would just be all drummers and guitar players. It'd just be all musicians, right? So thank you all. Fuck that guy who said that about Meg White. You don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Go listen to the White Stripes. And don't worry about how hard it was to play those songs. Those songs sound good in your ear hole. And that's the bottom line. That's the whole thing. It's the whole thing. Does it sound good when it hits there? And it does. I'll see you all around.